There are shows that can make the world laugh for a lifetime, but once the studio lights finally go dark, the real lives behind those smiles often leave us in a quiet, emotional silence. From 1964 to 1969, television captured something truly magical with Gomer Pyle, USMC. For over half a decade, millions of families found comfort in the dusty barracks, sharing in the pure innocence of Gomer Pyle, the timeless bonds of camaraderie, and the heartwarming humor that defined an era. But time moves like an unyielding march. Once the laughter of the 60s faded into the past, the legendary cast stepped into their own unpredictable destinies. Beyond the uniform and the roaring applause, their paths diverged into reality. Some found enduring success, others faced the quiet weight of isolation, physical illness, or deep personal losses, and many have now gently marched into eternity. And now, let us look back at the unforgettable cast of Gomer Pyle, USMC, how they brought us endless joy then, and how the passage of time transformed their real lives by 2026. 1. Jim Nabors. The cheerful echo of Shazam once brought boundless joy to millions, defining a golden era of American television. At the center of that magic was the lovable, innocent recruit, Gomer Pyle, portrayed with unforgettable brilliance by Jim Nabors in Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969. Born in 1930, Nabors possessed a rare, gentle spirit that resonated deeply with viewers during a turbulent decade. When he passed away in 2017 at the age of 87, it felt as though a beautifully innocent chapter of our collective childhood had gently closed. Behind that iconic, wide-eyed smile lay a private battle with severe health challenges. For decades, Nabors quietly fought the devastating effects of a life-threatening liver disease, contracting hepatitis B in the 1970s from a routine cut while traveling, which eventually required a successful liver transplant in 1994. The immense pressure of being forever stereotyped as a simple-minded country boy often weighed heavily on him, forcing him to seek refuge far from the aggressive glare of Hollywood's unrelenting spotlight. Seeking peace, Nabors famously left the glitz of California behind to start a fresh life on a serene macadamia nut ranch in Hawaii. He shifted his career entirely toward recording rich, soaring baritone gospel music and hosting traditional live shows, proving his immense vocal talent extended far beyond comedic acting. His personal life found its true anchor in a deeply devoted, low-profile relationship with his partner, Stan Cadwallader, whom he legally married in 2013 after nearly 4 decades of quiet togetherness. When he left this world, Nabors left behind a substantial estate valued around $40 million, prioritizing personal peace over a flashy collection of modern luxury sports cars. Up to 2026, his enduring legacy remains deeply woven into the hearts of classic television fans as a pure symbol of warmth and kindness. Looking back at his journey today, we realize how quickly the bright lights of Hollywood fade, yet how permanently his joyful spirit remains etched in our memories. Revisiting Jim Nabors' remarkable life teaches us that the roles we play do not define our true value. The ultimate lesson from his quiet transformation is that while fame and youth inevitably drift away into history, protecting our health, choosing personal peace, and staying true to our authentic selves is what builds a truly timeless legacy. 2. Ronnie Schell. The bustling military barracks of Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, wouldn't have been the same without the sharp wit of Duke Slater. Brought to life by the talented comedic actor Ronnie Schell, born in 1931, Duke was the wisecracking, loyal buddy who perfectly balanced Gomer's naive charm. Today, in 2026, Schell stands as an incredible 94-year-old elder statesman of classic television comedy, a living bridge to an era when laughter was simple, warm, and deeply comforting. As the decades marched on, the energetic young private naturally slowed down, navigating the quiet trials of old age away from the frantic Hollywood lens. Managing his health with remarkable resilience and privacy, Schell avoided the tragic downfalls that often plague sudden television stars. His deepest emotional burden has simply been the bittersweet passage of time, enduring the heartbreaking loss of nearly all his old military co-stars who have left the barracks for eternity. After his tour of duty on the show ended, Schell refused to let Hollywood fade him out. He carved a robust, enduring career as a versatile stand-up comedian, highly sought-after voice actor, and television guest star for decades. His personal life found a beautiful anchor in his long-lasting marriage to his wife, Janet, steering completely clear of the bitter marital tragedies common in show business and building a grounded, joyful life centered on live comedy. By 2026, his legacy is measured not by an ostentatious collection of modern supercars or a flashy net worth, which sits comfortably in the low millions, but by the enduring smiles of generations. He holds a revered, warm place in the hearts of classic TV fans. Looking at him now, we realize that while the old barracks have long closed, his vibrant comedic spirit continues to keep a golden era of television beautifully alive. Revisiting Ronnie Schell's long journey reminds us that a good laugh is timeless. The ultimate lesson from his life is that while youth fades and classic shows turn into history, maintaining a sharp wit, a joyful heart, and a dedicated spirit is the truest way to outrun the fading sunset. 3. Forrest Compton. The Disciplined Order of Camp Henderson and Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, was held together by the commanding presence of Lieutenant Colonel Edward Gray. Portrayed with a perfect balance of stern authority and fair-minded decency by actor Forrest Compton, born in 1925, Colonel Gray was the ultimate leader who often saw the true potential in Gomer. When Compton passed away in April 2020 at the honorable age of 94, it marked the final salute for a distinguished talent who brought genuine honor to the classic sitcom era. In his final chapter, Compton's departure from the stage of life was marked by a poignant twist of modern history as he succumbed to complications from COVID-19 during the early wave of the pandemic. Behind the uniform, Compton carried a deep, real-life gravitas that few viewers fully realized. He was a true World War II veteran who had been wounded in action in France. The quiet memories of his actual military service gave his on-screen character an undeniable depth, far removed from the superficial pressures of Hollywood fame. Following his memorable tour of duty on the show, Compton's path took him to the legendary center of American daytime drama, where he starred as attorney Mike Carr in The Edge of Night for over a decade. He remained fully committed to his craft before gracefully retiring from show business in 2002 to live a tranquil life on Shelter Island, New York. Alongside his beloved wife, Jean, he enjoyed a long, stable marriage of 45 years, finding great fulfillment in community theater and quiet island peace. When he stepped away, Compton left behind a lasting legacy and a modest estate, valued in the low millions, choosing a life of personal value over an ostentatious collection of modern luxury sports cars. In 2026, he is remembered by classic television fans as the ultimate symbol of a stern yet kind-hearted commander. Looking back at his journey today, we realize how beautifully his real-life bravery and artistic dedication blended together, leaving a mark that time can never wash away. Revisiting Forrest Compton's long life shows us that true authority is built on dignity and respect. The ultimate lesson from his transition from a real wartime hero to a beloved television commander is that while the bright lights of our career inevitably dim, a legacy built on authentic honor and quiet service is what truly endures. 4. Allan Melvin. The competitive rivalry at Camp Henderson and Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, wouldn't have been nearly as unforgettable without the constant scheming of Sergeant Charlie Hacker. Portrayed with brilliant comedic timing by the beloved character actor Allan Melvin, born in 1923, Sergeant Hacker was the fierce food services rival who always kept Sergeant Carter on his toes. When Melvin passed away in January 2008 at the age of 84, television lost one of its most recognizable, comforting faces, a man who spent decades making us smile from the small screen. In his final years, Melvin fought a quiet, dignified battle against cancer, which ultimately led to his passing from a heart attack at his home in Los Angeles. Behind the booming voice and tough guy exterior lay a deeply sensitive man who often chose a private life far away from the aggressive chaos of Hollywood's gossip columns. The contrast between his loud, authoritative characters and his real-life gentle, soft-spoken nature was a beautiful secret known only to those closest to him. After his time in the military barracks, Melvin's career flourished remarkably as he became an indispensable staple of classic American sitcoms, most notably starring as Barney Hefner in All in the Family and Archie Bunker's Place. He also lent his iconic voice to legendary cartoons like The Banana Splits. His personal life was defined by rare Hollywood stability. He shared a beautiful, enduring 64-year marriage with his beloved wife, Amalia, proving that true happiness is found at home. When he stepped away, Melvin left behind a modest estate, comfortably in the low millions, prioritizing a quiet retirement over a flashy collection of luxury supercars. By 2026, his enduring legacy remains deeply preserved in the hearts of television purists as a quintessential master of the golden age of sitcoms. Looking back today, we realize how quickly those vintage studio lights faded, yet how permanently his joyful energy remains etched in our memories. Revisiting Allan Melvin's long life shows us that a career built on consistency and kindness outlasts fleeting stardom. The ultimate lesson from his journey is that while grand roles end and time moves on, a legacy rooted in genuine laughter and a loving, stable home is what truly stands the test of time. 5. William Christopher. The bustling barracks of Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, featured a wonderful tapestry of personalities, including the mild-mannered Private Lester Hummel. Portrayed with a distinct, gentle charm by actor William Christopher, born in 1932, Lester brought a soft-spoken sincerity to the military sitcom world. When Christopher passed away in December 2016 at the age of 84, it felt as though television had lost one of its most comforting, kind-hearted souls, a man whose warmth left an indelible mark on viewers. In his final years, Christopher fought a dignified, quiet battle against small cell carcinoma, passing away peacefully at his home in Pasadena. Far from the aggressive glare of Hollywood tabloids, his deepest real-life challenges were met with profound devotion. Christopher and his wife faced a heavy personal struggle as they dedicated their lives to raising their autistic son, Ned. The immense emotional pressure of navigating a severe, little-understood condition in that era became a quiet, moving crusade for the actor. Following his memorable tour of duty on the show, Christopher's career reached iconic heights when he captured the hearts of millions as the beloved Father Mulcahy in the legendary series MASH. He remained a dedicated actor for decades, seamlessly transitioning between television and charitable theater. His personal life was defined by remarkable devotion. He shared a beautiful 59-year marriage with his wife Barbara, proving that true fulfillment is found in unconditional love and family stability. When he stepped away, Christopher left behind a modest estate valued comfortably in the low millions, prioritizing his family's future and autism advocacy over a flashy collection of modern supercars. By 2026, his enduring legacy remains deeply preserved in the hearts of classic television fans as a true symbol of kindness and grace. Looking back today, we realize how quickly those old studio lights faded, yet how permanently his gentle spirit remains etched in our memories. Revisiting William Christopher's life shows us that real-world devotion far outshines on-screen stardom. The ultimate lesson from his journey is that while grand roles end and youth inevitably turns into history, a legacy built on quiet compassion, love for one's family, and advocating for those in need is what truly stands the test of time. 6. Larry Hovis. The early days of Camp Henderson and Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, were enlivened by the cheerful presence of Corporal Larry Gottschalk, played with a natural, engaging charm by actor Larry Hovis. Born in 1936, Larry was the reliable military buddy who anchored the show's first season. When Hovis passed away in September 2003 at the age of 67, television lost a wonderfully versatile, gentle soul, a man who spent his life creating art both in front of and behind the cameras. In his final years, Hovis fought a quiet, intense battle against esophageal cancer, passing away peacefully at a hospice in Austin, Texas. Far from the superficial glamour of Hollywood tabloids, his deepest heartache came just decades earlier when he suffered the sudden, devastating loss of his beloved wife, Ann Watkins, in 1995. The profound grief of her passing left a quiet, lingering sadness in his life, proving that the man who brought so much laughter to millions had to carry his own heavy emotional burdens in the shadows. After his memorable tour of duty on the show, Hovis achieved iconic television legendary status by starring as the lovable, explosive expert Sergeant Carter in Hogan's Heroes. He remained deeply committed to his craft for decades, seamlessly transitioning from Hollywood acting to writing, producing, and eventually teaching drama as a university professor. His life became a beautiful crusade to inspire the next generation of actors, proving that true fulfillment is found in passing on the torch of creativity. When he stepped away, Hovis left behind a modest estate valued in the low millions, prioritizing his family and his students over a flashy collection of modern luxury sports cars. By 2026, his enduring legacy remains safely preserved in the hearts of classic comedy purists as a true multi-talented gentleman of the screen. Looking back today, we realize how quickly those vintage studio lights faded, yet how permanently his warm, creative spirit remains etched in our memories. Revisiting Larry Hovis's meaningful life shows us that true stardom is measured by the lives we touch. The ultimate lesson from his journey is that while grand roles end and youth inevitably drifts into history, a legacy built on teaching, resilience through personal grief, and quiet dedication to art is what truly stands the test of time. 7. Roy Stuart. The rigid military discipline of Camp Henderson and Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, was often softened by the relatable presence of Corporal Chuck Boyle, portrayed with a wonderful, grounded charm by actor Roy Stuart. Born in 1935, Chuck was the dedicated, long-suffering aide to Sergeant Carter, who often served as the voice of reason. When Stuart passed away in December 2005 at the age of 70, classic television lost a uniquely talented, dependable character actor whose quiet warmth added real heart to the legendary sitcom. In his final chapter, Stuart fought a brave, private battle against cancer, passing away peacefully at the Fairfax Hospital in California. Far from the chaotic, sensationalized headlines of Hollywood gossip columns, his final years were lived with immense dignity and privacy. The transition from the high-energy demands of early network television to a quiet retirement was a profound shift. Yet he faced the natural progression of time and health challenges with a gentle, unseen resilience that deeply moved those closest to him. After his memorable 3-season tour of duty on the show ended, Stuart remained a vibrant force in the entertainment world for decades. He chose a path of steady artistic devotion over the pursuit of fleeting blockbusters, appearing in numerous classic television series, feature films, and over 100 commercials. He also found immense creative fulfillment on the theater stage. His personal life was kept deliberately quiet and stable, completely free from public downfalls or bitter marital scandals. When he stepped away, Stuart left behind a modest estate, comfortably in the low millions, prioritizing a peaceful, meaningful life over a flashy collection of modern supercars. By 2026, his enduring legacy remains safely preserved in the hearts of classic comedy purists as a true pillar of the golden age of television. Looking back today, we slowly realize how fast those vintage studio lights faded, yet how permanently his kind-hearted presence remains etched in our memories. At 8, Barbara Stuart. The rigid military world of Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, found its softest, most vibrant escape whenever Bunny Wilson stepped into the frame. Played with a beautiful blend of warmth and sharp-witted charm by actress Barbara Stuart, born in 1930, Bunny was the devoted, long-suffering girlfriend of the loud Sergeant Carter. When Stuart passed away in May 2011 at the age of 81, television lost one of its most elegant, dependable, funny women, a grace that anchored a legendary era of classic comedy. In her sunset years, Stuart fought a brave, deeply private battle against a prolonged illness, passing away peacefully at a nursing facility in St. George, Utah. Far from the aggressive flash of Hollywood cameras, her final years were spent surrounded by family, away from the demanding spotlight that once defined her youth. The transition into old age was a quiet one, but she carried the natural, physical declines of her later life with an unyielding, silent dignity that deeply moved those closest to her. After her memorable time on the show, Stuart remained a powerhouse in American television, gracefully carving out a prolific career that spanned decades, with appearances in hit series like Our House and Airplane. However, her personal life faced a bittersweet chapter when her long marriage to fellow actor Dick Gautier ended in divorce. Despite this heartbreak, she navigated the shift with immense strength, continuing to act, paint, and dedicate herself to charitable causes rather than dwelling in sadness. When she left this world, Stuart bequeathed a legacy built on pure artistic substance rather than an ostentatious collection of supercars, leaving a modest estate valued in the low millions. By 2026, she holds a cherished, permanent place in the hearts of classic TV fans as the ultimate symbol of patience and grace. Looking back today, we realize how quickly those vintage studio lights faded, yet how beautifully her radiant smile remains etched in our collective memory. 9. Elizabeth MacRae. The military atmosphere of Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, instantly softened whenever Lou Ann Poovey walked into the frame. Played with an unforgettable, sweet Southern drawl by actress Elizabeth MacRae, born in 1936, Lou Ann became Gomer's beloved, charting a beautifully innocent romance. When MacRae passed away in May 2024 at the venerable age of 88, it felt as though one of the last golden rays of classic 1960s sitcom warmth had gently dipped below the horizon, leaving behind a profound sense of nostalgia. Her final chapter was written peacefully in her home state of North Carolina, where she passed away from natural causes related to advanced age. Far from the aggressive flash of Hollywood cameras, MacRae's later years were lived with immense grace. The transition from the high-stakes pressure of sudden television fame to a quiet, ordinary life was a path she walked deliberately, facing the natural physical declines of her sunset years with a serene, private resilience that deeply moved those who knew her best. After her memorable tour of duty on the show, MacRae's career flourished beautifully across American television, notably starring in iconic daytime soap operas like General Hospital and Guiding Light. However, she eventually chose to walk away from Hollywood's relentless spotlight, returning to the South to focus on community service and family. Her personal life found a rare, beautiful sanctuary of stability in her long marriage to her husband, Charles Halsey, completely avoiding the public tragedies common in showbiz. When she left this world, MacRae left a legacy built on genuine artistic substance rather than an ostentatious collection of supercars, with a modest estate valued comfortably in the low millions. By 2026, she holds a deeply cherished permanent place in the hearts of classic television purists as a symbol of sweet, timeless grace. Looking back today, we slowly realize how fast the old days faded, yet how beautifully her radiant smile remains etched in our collective memory. Revisiting Elizabeth MacRae's life teaches us that the quiet chapters of life can be just as fulfilling as the loud ones. The ultimate lesson from her journey is that while grand roles end and youth inevitably drifts into history, a legacy built on authentic kindness, personal peace, and stepping away from the spotlight on your own terms is what truly stands the test of time. 10 Mark Slade, The Bustling Military World of Gomer Pyle, USMC, 1964 to 1969, featured a wonderful tapestry of fresh faces, including the brief yet memorable presence of Frankie Lombardi. Brought to life by the handsome, blue-eyed actor Mark Slade, born in 1939, this character added a distinct layer of youthful energy to the camp before Slade transitioned to other historic Western landscapes. Today, in 2026, Slade stands as a remarkable 87-year-old survivor of Hollywood's golden age, a living bridge to an era of classic storytelling. Behind his boyish on-screen charm, the sudden, intense pressures of 1960s television fame took their toll, leading Slade to quietly prioritize his personal well-being over the frantic Hollywood grind. He managed the natural, slow transitions of aging completely away from the toxic glare of modern celebrity, preserving his health and privacy. His deepest emotional challenge has simply been the bittersweet passage of time, watching almost all his old military and desert co-stars slowly pass into history. After his memorable early roles, Slade chose a beautifully different path, eventually leaving Hollywood acting to dedicate his life to his true passions: fine art, painting, and writing. Alongside his beloved wife, Melinda, he built a serene, creative sanctuary that completely avoided the bitter marital tragedies common in show business. He walked away from the camera's lens on his own terms, proving that a deeply fulfilling life exists far beyond the blinding flash of the spotlight. By 2026, his legacy is measured not by an ostentatious collection of modern luxury sports cars or a flashy net worth, which sits comfortably in the low millions, but by the enduring warmth of vintage nostalgia. He holds a unique, revered place in the hearts of classic television purists. Looking at him today, we slowly realize how quickly youth rides into the sunset, yet how permanently his creative spirit remains captured in our collective memory. Revisiting Mark Slade's long journey reminds us that stardom is just a fleeting season. The ultimate lesson from his quiet transformation is that when the bright lights of our youth inevitably dim, our ability to reinvent ourselves, embrace our true creative passions, and protect our personal peace is what builds a genuinely timeless legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close this chapter, we slowly realize that Gomer Pyle, USMC, was never just an old military sitcom. It was a beautiful sanctuary of laughter, a warm shelter that brought families together during a restless, changing era. It became a living piece of our collective memory, a timeless reminder of a gentler time. The decades have marched on relentlessly, and the passage of time has transformed everything. The bustling barracks of Camp Henderson have grown quiet, and many of the legendary actors who once filled our living rooms with joy have softly marched into eternity. Yet, as we look at their changing faces and remember their journeys, we realize that the laughter, the pure innocence, and the genuine warmth they left behind have not faded at all. They remain beautifully alive, etched permanently into the hearts of generations. Thank you so much for walking down this memory lane with us today. Your presence means the world to this channel. If these nostalgic moments touched your heart, please take a brief moment to like, share, and subscribe with the notification bell turned on so we can continue to preserve these precious memories together. And please, leave a comment below sharing which character or episode brought the brightest smile to your face. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next nostalgic journey.